Wow. What about now? Dang. Come on, buddy. Show up that you're either working or not working. Wow. There it is. All right. Cool, cool. Yeah, I was about to get into the whole long speech of stuff. This is the first time in a while. Well, I don't want to say in a while. I wanted to get into this whole speech, and I was like, man, I better check this mic, make sure everything's working and all that stuff. Make sure everything's streaming right. Because I don't want to get halfway into this call. Or halfway into this. Hold on. Now it's doing an echo because I'm on the phone. I'm going to get halfway into this live stream and then realize that the mic's off. Right? Oh, hold on. Warning, open studio. It says, gives me a warning. I guess some of this is learning the software. Okay, basically saying my bit rate's low. So, anyway, let's carry on. So, yesterday, some of this journey with the cancer, people are think that it's just about fighting for your life and beating the cancer and so on. And what I found for me is actually just feeling content with myself. It's not about. Sure, we all want to live and go through things, and we're fighting that battle. But some of the battle is actually I want to say mental, and finding me, understanding me, getting into my head and feeling comfortable with any outcome. It's finding the faith, I guess. Finding the faith. Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe I shy away from saying that, but it's finding the faith that no matter what happens, cancer, no cancer, that I'm doing the right thing. I'm putting myself in the right mindset. I'm giving back. We're doing everything right that we should be. Maybe it could be inspiring other people. It could be just reevaluating your own life and being content with your journey, right? So, with that being said, kind of me and my, me and my dad got into it last night a little bit, but I just wanted to, started off, they were in the car. Well, I wasn't even with them. Mom come back and she's like, well, I got into it with your dad again. And of course, I don't know, it triggered something in my head, and I blew up on my dad, but I was just like, there was something happened as in a child that I was like, wanting to get off my chest. And it was wrong. I think it was the wrong way to do it. So I made a mistake with that. But sometimes in life, things have to happen in order for you to see the reality of it. So I'm learning to be straightforward with things, not sugarcoat anything or anything like that. So long story short with it, it's not going to be. Anyway, I forgive my dad. When I first moved him out here. So understand that my parents live with me. I wanted them to be. I wanted them to be able to retire. I have to focus on working for somebody all their life. I felt like they were going down that path. This is before I got diagnosed with a cancer, right? So, I'm all about, no matter what I'm all about forgiving the past and moving on. And maybe yesterday I dropped into that. Maybe I didn't fully forgive the past, right? Anyway, I ended up blowing up on my dad, and kind of started running through the things, and I just told him, I was like, hey man, there's no reason to. Anyway, see here. he blew up. Let's go back to the beginning of that. He blew up on my mom in the car, or they blew up on each other. I don't know. And they just came back. You know, they left with one attitude, came back with another, and my dad has a tendency to. He listens, but sometimes I feel he doesn't. Like he's stubborn, you know. He's got his one direction, and yeah, I feel like he doesn't want to listen. Like he's got his way, I got mine. Sure, completely different sometimes. Well, actually, most of the time. For me, for him, he feels like. For him, I feel like he feels that I think that he doesn't know what he's doing, right? I don't know if he's looking for acknowledgement or what. So basically, he's been a carpenter in the trade for, you know, ever since I was little. But granted, I did this stuff too, right? I haven't done it for 50 years or however, you know, the same length as him, but his level of training and mine is completely different. You know, I went to college and I did probably more training in the military than he did. And even after that, you know, getting into the stuff that I focus on. I didn't focus on just the woodwork and all that stuff. I learned computer science. All kind of went to different. He went to different countries. Anyway, sometimes I feel like he feels he knows what's best and all that. And I'm pretty open-minded with things. At least I'm telling myself that, right? And oftentimes, like now, I'm 50. My dad's 75, right? We've both been through a lot of stuff. It's like, even if you're 50 or 75, you can still learn things. Even at 50, you can still learn things. Like I'm constantly learning things from way younger people than me and so on. And with life, it's constantly changing. Let's say software is an example. You know, we had the one phones, and like now, sure, I can code and all that stuff, but man, some of these kids nowadays, it's insane because they grew up around it, right? And it's like they know way more stuff than me. So sure, I'm gonna take a step back and go try to learn from them. And with my dad, sometimes I feel like we have that battle where maybe he thinks that I'm trying to one up him or something like that, which I'm not. I'm just trying to share my experience with him. Some of that moving him out here or them out here was to bond with him, and I want him to understand how I think. You know, growing up, we didn't really get into that connection. You know, why does he click this way, or why do I click that way? And part of my journey has been finding me, but also sharing it with them. And with him, he runs away sometimes. And we both got anger and whatnot. The whole temperature level went up, and I was like, man, this is so stupid. Why are we arguing about turning out, you know, why are we arguing about something so subtle? And anyway, kind of got mad at each other, and it kind of got up, and then he went in his room and shut the door, and he's like, I don't want to talk, because y'all are picking on me, and I'm never picking on him. It's like I have his best interest out of anybody, you know. Sure, we've had our times growing up, and he may feel like I'm picking on him. But to be honest, I feel like I have his best interest because I'm trying to do this to him. I'm open-minded. You know, I'll sit down there and I want him to be able to tell me his story. And again, now I want him to be able to have, you know, I want to be able to have a good conversation, deep conversation about life in general with my parents. I can do it with my mom. I can do it with my dad. Anyway, so he stayed in his room. I I ended up I was like, man, I gotta get out of here. In my head, I gotta get out of here. And then it's like I was gonna go out to eat somewhere. And then I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I don't want to go alone. I'm always one of, okay, so we had our argument. So I go in there and ask him, I was like, hey, I'm going to go to this restaurant. You want to go? I could have took my mom, but I know that me and my mom already communicate, right? We can have we have our blowouts too. He's like, no, I'm not going. And then I didn't want to go alone, but I wanted to get, anyway. So I ended up making dinner. I was the one that made dinner. We had some steak set out. That's what my mom had planned for the day. So I enjoy cooking, so I wanted it. I'm like, all right, I'll make it. Again, he's got this anyway, so I make the dinner, and we all eat, sit at the table and eat. Didn't really talk too much about anything at the table. I'm big on trying to. I don't like having TV in the background or anything when we're at the table. Family people at the table. I think you need to focus. When we're at the dinner table, we need to be. It's the time that everybody's gathered around together, right? So you should be 100% focused on the moment. No distractions, no TV. Enjoy the food, enjoy the company of your family and all that. So we ended up not talking, right? And he gets finished, he does the dishes and goes in his room, and then I'm thinking about that stuff and I tend to beat myself up over conversations, but I think that's how you learn, when you're able to connect more with yourself. So the whole time I'm like, I don't want that to happen again. I hate it when that happens because you get that energy built up, and the energy, it's like the negative energy can escalate off of negative energy, right? So, and that's where I felt like it was going. This negative energy just it's not going down. So, and having the cancer, I feel like that's one of the biggest things you don't want to deal with, or you don't need in your life. Any kind of anger, or I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling. Like I could go out and just beat the crap out of something. And I don't want that in my life. Not that way. I don't want to have arguments with people. I don't want to. Maybe they're right. Maybe they're wrong, but trying to be open-minded with them and have a conversation. So he went in his room, and then my mom ended up going back in the room too. And I'm sitting there in the living room, or I'm sitting there at the kitchen table, and I'm like, this needs to stop. This kind of feeling inside needs to stop. Why can't you just have a good time? Like, not even that you have to have a good time, but you shouldn't have those feelings. So I was sitting there thinking, and I was like, how do we get over this, right? How do we prevent it from, or almost like if it starts to escalate, have a keyword that gets you out of it or something like that. It's like, okay, my tension's building up, and it's like, what was it? There's some YouTube viral video where the guy's like, my safe word is pineapple. Or something like that, where it was just like, okay, it's getting too. Thought about, is there a way that come up with a word or something like that? So that was part of the process that I was thinking, and then it was like, why don't we just sit in the room? Because he goes in there and starts watching his little YouTube videos and all that stuff, and I'm just going, why don't we just sit in the same room together? We don't have to say anything. Sit in the same room, no TV, no distractions. but dig down deep and feel that aura or energy around, and kind of work through that energy to work things out, right? So I go in there, I was like, hey, can we all go in the other room? Because I was like, I'm done with that conversation with the argument and all that. I was done with that. And I wanted to just get in there and try to, as a family, overcome that challenge, the negativity, right? So I go in there and ask him, I was like, hey, can you guys come in the room and let's just sit and talk about stuff? And he automatically assumes that I'm wanting to bash him on him blowing up on her and me blowing up on him and me pointing out whatever and I didn't. It wasn't about that. I didn't want to talk about that. I mean, I'm sure it would have came up, but like I was saying, it's like I just want to be in the same room. We go through this thing together. And he was having no part of it. So again, my mom, this is where I was saying is I have no problem talking to my mom. So my mom comes in there. She's like, okay. She comes in there. She's sitting on the sofa. I'm sitting on the couch. Now, actually, I should have recorded that whole scenario just to share with you guys, like everybody goes through issues, but some people keep it bottled up. I just wanted to share how I get through things. And to show that sometimes we all make mistakes, right? I felt like I made a big mistake by doing that. Obviously, I wasn't as forgiving with that for the fact that thing that whatever happened in the past, because I brought it up. So but anyway, so we end up getting me and my mom end up sitting in the living room, and I was like, I really want to give you feedback on. I want you to know about how I'm feeling with this cancer, right? And even this little episode of what happened is like, I want to, because there's been, when you go through the chemo side, you have mood swings and all of the crap, and then like I mentioned in other videos, I see signs and all that. I look for signs of life to point me in the direction I need to go. And like this is a moment. Yesterday, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, I kind of got a little bit lightheaded, bending over, right? And that's one of the things that you look at with the treatment stuff is like, so I was sitting there evaluating myself, trying to go, I want you to know that this is, I haven't had that in the treatment where I got nauseated before. So the whole topic that we got, or that we started doing, wasn't even anything to do with that whole situation before. It was just, but I tried to go in there and tell my dad, I was like, hey, can we talk about this stuff? And I was like, I'm talking about the whole cancer thing. And he's like, yeah, I know you want to just, you're fighting this whole thing. And some of this journey isn't about fighting the cancer. It's about fighting my inner self, and maybe it's not just the cancer. When you go through these things, it can be more. For me, I don't know about how the other people go through it, but I wanted to share that. It's like I wanted to share this, just the stuff that I'm going through and how I'm tackling the struggles, right? Even with blowing up, it's like, how do I, like that? It's like life's too short for me to go into that, but I don't want to run away from those challenges, because those challenges, like the sooner you get it done and over with, the sooner you can move on and get back to feeling good again. So with growing up with my dad, we constantly had this thing where it could have only lasted this long, but instead it lasted this long. and there was no reason. Somebody should have gave up, or it's as a family working together and working through it. And anyway, he didn't. And with my mom, we ended up talking, and it's like, I want to say you have this energy. So she's sitting here, I'm sitting here, and how I explained it to her was like, imagine we're all in this thing. We all emit whatever energy we have, good, positive, negative, whatever, right? Anyway, I'll look at that later. But we all look at, like, you have this energy, and then how I guess how to explain it is like, right now we're like this, right? If we're talking, and as you start talking, this energy starts to kind of connect, right? And that's where I was trying to get with my dad, was we're way out here right now, and we need to get back into that sync to where we're flowing together around this thing, and we're on a journey. Sure, we're on our own journey, but we're on this journey together. And this journey, not just the cancer, it's called life, right? So I have my struggles, he has his struggles, all that. And when talking with my mom over the time, I could feel it. I could feel that energy just kind of, I could feel me connecting with my mom, but you also had that one out there with my dad. So it's like, imagine like a tornado or anything like that, or whatever they call the ones over the water, where you have that going up, but then you have something over here that's just a totally different direction. There's the maybe it, I don't know how to even really explain that, but it's like that connection you have with the other person and the energy, and it resonates with inside. So ended up, it's probably me just talking my head off with this crap, because I get in my mode and I do that. I just keep talking and talking and don't shut up. But granted, I don't, on the videos like this, I'm finding that it's been difficult to talk just by myself. I could talk a lot when I'm talking with somebody, but when I'm talking to a screen, it's kind of difficult, and your mind just it's hard to stay on the same path sometimes. So I'm fighting that, trying to learn that. And even with this journey, some of this is like learning, and I want, if I could get anything out of this, it's like I want to share that we all have to learn a little bit about us. Anyway, so back to the thing. So ended up, my mom went to bed. I go in my room, and it's with, actually, let me back that up a little bit. So that whole thing about that vibe. So when I went in there and we sat down, I had this negative freaking, I don't know, man. It was so, I was so mad inside. I was like, you know what, Dad, just leave. But I kept telling myself, no, don't do that. And this is, we sometimes can get to that point where we say the wrong things, do the wrong thing. It just gets so built up inside of us or whatever. And what I got out of that talk with my mom was exactly what I thought it would be, at least with her. Maybe not so much with him. It kind of, even though he didn't want to come in there, I tried to make it loud enough so he could hear the talk. And he still didn't get it. He's got hearing problems, so I'd have to almost yell, and I didn't want to do that. But he heard bits and pieces. I know he did, because he ended up coming in there later and saying his piece, which, that's what I wanted. I wanted him to be able to come in there and say his piece, say whatever is on his mind. If he's frustrated with that and pissed off that, but I don't want. I was so, let's say I was so frustrated with him. I was pissed, but by the end of it, actually, I felt sorry for him. I wasn't mad. I started to realize his coping is different than mine. He went straight to the video, the phones, and it gets in that zone, and you stay in that little negativity thing in your head. You know what I mean? Like, you go through it, you end up getting in this thing where it's not going anywhere, and it's like that as compared to like a smooth talk. And yeah, so with that, when I was done talking with my mom, like my heart rate was back down, everything was back down. I was calm within. And if you follow me on the Facebook or friends on Facebook, you see I've been doing all those posts, and some of it's been meditation and so on. It was almost like you got into a meditational state where you're comfortable with you and the things around you and all that stuff, and yeah, it was a calming moment. But when my mom went to bed, and then I went into my room, and I was thinking, should I do a video and all that, but I didn't. But I started to just dive deeper into myself. Even then, evaluating myself on the situation. Did I blow up on that because of this? And that's where I ended up going, like, you know what? I was wrong. And I shouldn't feel ever, mad like that or anything like that. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I started feeling more comfortable with things. I started to actually be happy that that situation happened, because it allowed me to dive deeper into myself and realize the mistakes that I'm doing in life with them or in general, and even with my kids, or is like taking that step back to reevaluate the situations and all that stuff. And it was kind of nice. I mean, the whole initial situation wasn't nice, but that ability to be able to get back into the comfortness of myself was nice. Like now, I woke up this morning and I could still see the tension with my mom and my dad. Even my dad, I could feel the tension with my dad and me, but it was like one direction. It was like he has the tension. I don't have the tension, because I realized that tension that's built up in him, he could let go. And it's sad that he can't open up his mind enough to let go of that thing and get over it. You know what I mean? He says he's over it, but and I say, well, I don't know. I say I'm over it too, but I still, I'm talking about it now. But my point of this whole thing is to share that experience. I guess I'm over it, 100%. Well, I say that, but it's being comfortable with yourself, learning how to be comfortable with yourself. So, along the cancer journey, you can sit there and worry about this or that. It's like the minute you find faith in that, good, if it does the battle, I lose the battle with or let's say if the cancer takes over. Hold on, Mr. Crazy Boy is. Hold on, go out for a minute, buddy. Talking to the pup. Part of this journey and how I feel so good is connecting with myself, right? I wish I could have, and I had been doing this for most of my life, but it seems like the cancer kind of kicked it into overdrive as far as like actually finding the faith with me, finding understanding me, and me understanding me, and me not looking for I'm not looking for any kind of recognition or any of that, or even to make anybody happy other than me, and being comfortable with the decisions that I make. You know what I mean? Like, only person I need to impress in life is me. But cars don't impress. I mean, there's materialistic things that impress people. There's money maybe impresses people. I've had money. I've had the crazy cars. I still have some of that, but being able to go comfortable with yourself enough that what if all that went away? What if I was homeless? Would I be comfortable with myself? On this journey, with the cancer, it's like you have to put yourself in that mindset of being comfortable with the end result, good or bad or whatever. If it spreads, it spreads. You know, we get scared. People do get scared on that whole thing, and I'm scared. I have little flashbacks of seeing that, but you have to be comfortable with the end result. Fight the battle as hard as you can. Don't get me wrong, but you have to be comfortable with the end result, good or bad. You know, end result being that you know that you put all of your effort into getting yourself to the situation that you wanted, or I think you know what I mean. Just putting all your effort into that challenge, not half-ass it, not nothing. And you know, I'm constantly looking at myself, going, dude, I half-assed that. I don't want to half-ass that. I don't want to. If you saw, I don't know if I shared the video here or not. We did had another guy flying. I'm selling most of my plane stuff, right? And it was crazy selling most of my plane stuff. I have this one that's a builder, builder plane. You have to start from scratch, build it up. And granted, I bought this in the current condition it is. I hadn't started working on it for the main reason that once I start, I need to continue, right? I had so many things. It was a killer project. I had one in my hangar for a long time, not the 2-seater, but the 4-seater version. I may share this with you. Give me a second. But it's just so cool. So I had a guy fly in yesterday to look at the one that I'm selling, right? So, and I posted on my Facebook, and you can find me at facebook.com, Kyle Des. That's where I post most of my stuff before. I mean, I'm going to expand and try to do this stuff better, but anyway, Michael stopped by to check out the one plane for somebody else. So he flew in from Fort Worth, which was just, it was rad, dude. It was just, it re-excited me about the whole plane thing, man, and made me kind of sad at a bit, because I was like, this is what I have for sale. One like this. You can find it on my Facebook page, but it's a 4-seater. Does all the cool stuff, you know, like I got into the crazy fast cars, and I was like, last thing, you know, the cars, it's cool to have a really cool car, but doing 200 mile, you know, I've done 170 on an interstate, or on a tollway. But anyway, I don't want to get in trouble with that crap, but it's different to do it in a car and a plane. A plane, you could get up there and play around. If you look at some of the other videos I did a while back, flying in an RV8, we're doing loops and rolls and all that stuff. To me, that's more exciting than 0 to 60 and all that stuff. Like, I like the roller coaster. I'm not a big drag race guy. I'm more of a road race. But seeing this kind of sparked my whole enjoyment factor. I don't even know where I was going with this portion of it, but that's the thing with and it could be getting old too, you know. Well, it is part of it's getting old, where your memory kind of goes, where was I at? Yeah, I don't remember. Holy crap, I hate that. Oh, anyway, okay, that's where it was. It's like I've had all the cool stuff, and now the stuff I still have the cool stuff, right? But my goal with the cool stuff isn't It's no longer about it. The vision for it is changed. Like I used to think that when I had a Ferrari, I'm not gonna lie, and I sold a company, and I told myself when I first make X amount of dollars, I'm gonna buy one. I lived, and that's because that was one of my dreams, man, was to have a Ferrari, and I accomplished that. I paid 205,000 cash for this car, cash. Most expensive purchase I've ever made, cash wise. Shit, I think the taxes on that thing were like 13,000, something like that. Grant, and I'll even show you the photos, man. I had that, had a Porsche, and now to me, none of that stuff matters, man. I mean, it matters the fact that I accomplished it and did it, right? But none of that really matters as far as like now crap that excites me. I see these crazy cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, all that stuff. This is the one that I had. And when I bought this car, I bought it for me anyway. It wasn't to brag about the car or anything like that. It was for me to show myself that I had achieved a point in my life where all the hard work that I did paid off. You know, everything that I put into doing what I was doing paid off. And it goes deeper. This whole thing goes deeper than that. But anyway, and back, that's where it was at. It's being comfortable or content with yourself in life. Like I could literally be broke, and I had been broke even after having this. Right, I lost it. Didn't lose everything. I had I'll get into that another thing. Moved the whole family to Japan, back to Japan. My wife's Japanese, ex-wife, if you want to say that. Her moved everybody back to Japan, and I wanted, when I had to start all over again, I had nothing. But I had stuff in Japan. I did have a fallback for that, like I could always go back to Japan, and I have a place to stay and all that crap. But anyway, I had to go through the struggle of starting all over again. And it was a tough journey, man, but it just gave me a better appreciation for life. In fact, I remember I was telling you about doing 200 miles an hour. Well, I think I did, actually, it was like I think the fastest is like 180 or something like that. This was 175. I can tell you where it was many years ago. And that thrill, that excitement, I don't know, it doesn't excite me. If I'm going to do it, play it safe. Let's go up in the air so that way you don't have any chance of hitting less chance of hitting oncoming traffic and so on. This is a car that kind of started my whole journey with the car. It didn't start the journey, but it brought me to another level. And this is just some of the crap that I've had, but none of that matters, man. It's weird how none of that matters. Reality is none of that matters in life. What you have or what you have now, current. Let's say what you have now doesn't. I don't know. I don't know how I say that. I've been to cool places. I've been well, I guess you need to have that in life too, right? Everybody has to have that. But anyway, now it's gotten to the point where I don't need these things to excite me anymore. Now it's or move me to the next level in life. It's me connecting with me and understanding that maybe help other people. Some of this journey that I'm sharing is to show people that, hey, I did it, so can you. I'm not the smartest guy in the world by any means, but I put in the time and effort to do things. When I sit behind a computer and I'm looking at things, I'm not looking at the same thing that most people look at. Like example, let's go here with Twitch, right? I was looking at with the video stuff, right? I was looking at Twitch, and I was trying to understand multiple things with it. One is I want to be able to get the word of the stuff that I'm doing out, right? That that's one thing, but I was looking at this going, what's in it for these people? They sit there and they do nothing all day long. Most of them, at least the ones I saw, they sit there and I don't say they do nothing. They're playing games, but it's like, how is that progress? Well, is that progressing you in life? There's people that have to brag about what they have and all that stuff. It's just so, I don't even know how to explain that. But when I'm looking at why are these people following this, and why it's so important that they have, like this one right here has 11,000 people watching this. 11,000 people watching this. It's a freaking game. I get it, but it's a game. And they'll do it for hours. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like the games, they're just sucking you into a life that you'll later on go, what did I do in life? Where did I go? What did I see? There's, I mean, this stuff just, but they have other things. They have games, they have music. So I'm sure eventually I'm going to start, like this stream, I'll end up somehow putting it on here. But for me, it'll be more of getting the word out about what I'm doing. I don't really care about making any money from this stuff. It's just sharing the journey of life. To me, that's more important than any kind of money. So, anyway, with all that being said, I was gonna go over some of this, but these things talk or go through things, and it's like this. Like there's Chris Bumstead. I don't know if you know who he is. This is stuff that I look at. Well, don't look at my. Yeah, no, it's fine. But I do the meditation stuff with the different tones and trying to understand all that stuff. Some of it's cancer, some of it's this, some of it's the flying. Understanding, I do watch, like this is another one. So this crazy Humvee, that crazy Humvee build sold for $750,000. Big question is, do you think it actually sold? It was Gas Monkey up there. So was that a real sale, or was that a ploy to advertising ploy? Because I got that sent to me many times. And you see, I'm going off on random stuff again. So anyway, I'm gonna stop it there, and yeah, you guys have a great day. Peace out. Love y'all. There. Keep watching all that. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching my video. Really appreciate it. Really do. Now if I can shut it off. No.